here's my perception on these policies. You're not approaching it from a standpoint of like, here's my title, and now I have to slap you in the face and convince you that you have to be like me. Mm-hmm. It's more discussing policy and how you can make California, how you can make San Diego, San Francisco, LA, better places to live where businesses can thrive, capitalism can do its thing. Mm-hmm. But inevitably, it seemingly keeps falling closer and closer towards socialism.
Yeah. It's, to your point about finding people, that's one thing I always tell people, whoever listens to the show, don't be afraid to talk to people who you don't think you agree with. Mm-hmm. We also have friends who couldn't be completely more opposite than us. But the ironic thing is when you're sitting down at a kitchen table, you're out to dinner with people and you're having a couple drinks, and all of a sudden you get down to the brass tacks of stuff in California, you'll find you have a lot in common. People will agree about how expensive it is and unaffordability and homelessness and crime and stuff like that. And you couldn't be on more opposite ends of the spectrum, which shows that there is this middle ground that millions of Californians agree on. How we obviously solve that is a whole different debate. But I always encourage people, you may not agree 100% with everybody, and you don't want to agree 100% with everybody and create this echo chamber. There's plenty of influencers out there who will feed you the red meat you want and give you all the stuff and all the feelings and all the emotional rage bait that you want to make you feel good. But I think in California, we got to sit down and we got to have real conversations about where we're going, because California is such a different beast in terms of the makeup, whether it's culturally or socioeconomic. I mean, we're a state that has 58 counties. We're like our own country. I mean, San Diego is way different than anybody up in the state of Jefferson, way different than San Francisco or Inland Empire or Riverside. And we have to sit down and figure out how to do things and fix what's going on here in California. You don't do that unless you actually reach across the aisle and talk to people. And we get pushback too. Like Camille and I get pushback when we post stuff because people think we're, oh, you're on my side, so you must believe everything I say. So, for example, if we post something and we're critical of what's going on with President Trump, all of a sudden we get pushback and people say, oh, you're a leftist or you're a crazy liberal or stuff like that. It's like, bro, look at our history. Like, look at our social media. You would never think that we're crazy lefties or liberals or anything like that. But it's important to have those conversations. You're not going to appease everybody, but if people sit down and think about it critically and want to have those conversations, most people will find out we actually agree here in California on a lot more than we disagree. And I think this kind of feeling that we are barreling towards socialism, that's like the people in the legislature are barreling us towards socialism in this nanny state. But I think most people in California don't want that. I think if you sat down and asked people, do you want this? And most people would say, nah, man, I just want to live my life and get married and have kids or have a career, do whatever I want.
I think socialism creates a perception of life will be easier. Mm-hmm. Because, maybe there's some sort of eventual universal income with the AI boom. Mm-hmm. But with everything being so expensive here, I mean, even a dual income where both parties are making six figures, it's difficult to make it work, even in a 2-bedroom apartment now in San Diego. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I think what's also interesting is the language and the terminology around politics, just using the term, or the phrase rather, affordable housing. Mm. The phrasing of that to the commenter is, oh, there's going to be apartments that are going to be more affordable to live in. But it's it's a behind the scenes tax strategy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the challenge, right? When you get into legal jargon, when you get into some of the political nuances, people don't really understand what they're voting for. Mm-hmm. They don't understand, prop this, prop that. And the way it's positioned as far as marketing is really confusing. Mm-hmm. But if all of a sudden it's prop whatever number associated with Newsom or associated with another candidate, now they go, oh, That's safe. That's my person. And so the marketing strategy is designed to pick a team rather than take ownership of policy.
Yeah.
And I think the big push should be on educating and inspiring people to use AI to better understand these policies. Hey, what is Prop 50? Help me better understand Prop 50. Okay, I put it in a ChatGPT. Let me put it into Grok now. Okay, let me put it into Google. Let me see the variants of these things. But most people are, I don't have time. I'm not political. I don't really want to be involved in that. It doesn't affect me directly until it does.
Yeah.
Until your gas prices are over $5, until it's, super expensive to buy groceries, just as like surface level things. And then now you're seeing the parking enforcement stuff in downtown San Diego. When there's an event at Petco Park, it's over $10 to park per hour from the little kiosks that people have, and then Balboa Park. And I could go on and on. But the point that I'm making is it's a systemic problem where it's trying to create psychological confusion where you're picking a team rather than understanding policy.
Yeah, if I have one big pet peeve about politics, and I've said this numerous times, is that political tribalism will be the downfall of this country if we allow it. If we allow it to become so tribalistic where we can't talk to each other and it's my team versus your team, red team versus blue team. Prop 50 is a perfect example of the fact that we are so tribalistic. People couldn't...
Real quickly, can you define Prop 50 for people that may not know?
So Prop 50 was the proposition that was passed this past November. It was a special election that Gavin Newsom, the legislature, put on the ballot, and it was, in their argument, it was a response to what Texas was doing with their redistricting of congressional districts, and they were going to get more Republicans if they went through with redistricting. And Trump made some comment about, well, if you're going to redistrict, we could probably squeeze out a couple more Republicans. And of course, Democrats pounced on that and thought it was Trump doing this power grab. California saw this as an opportunity. Gavin Newsom saw this as an opportunity to step onto the national stage and be Mr. Anti-Trump. And they went ahead and spent $300 million on this special election. And it passed pretty easily because they centered it all around, we have to combat Trump. That was the whole thing. We have to combat Trump. This is how we do it. They would say outlandish things like, this is to protect democracy across the nation. I don't know how you protect democracy across the nation just here in California, but those are the sort of arguments that they were making. And when you talk to people who were in support of Prop 50 and said, hey, you know what you're doing here is you're basically shredding this ideal that America is founded upon, which is representative government. And if we go down this route where politicians can go, I don't like the results of elections, so I'm just going to go ahead and change the landscape. It's like if you're losing at chess, all of a sudden you throw over the chessboard and start playing backgammon. That's what they were doing. Yep. Is they don't like the results of the game. California went more red in 2024, so I think that scared the crap out of a lot of Democrats here. But they made it all about Trump, and that tribalism is what got Prop 50 over. And in reality, if you sat down and looked at it and told people, here's what's really going to happen, and they say it's temporary. Sure, it's temporary. That's like anything in the government is never temporary. We'll give the power back after 2030 to the independent commission, which the independent commission was something we voted on in California in 2008. Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor. And it's an independent commission made up of citizens who draw the maps, not the legislature. So you don't have the legislature kind of gerrymandering their own districts. But to your point, that's the problem, is that it's so tribalistic. It's, so many people came out because it was a snub against Trump. That was all they cared about. They didn't care about the underlying issue of shredding the Constitution and representative government to the point where now politicians can play their games, and if they don't like the outcome, they'll just change the districts and get the people they want in there and just ram people in there, which, and when you get down to it, then why even have a vote anymore? Why even have a representative if they can be changed at any point by the powers that be?